good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to coverage of the APA World Pool Championship from here at the Westgate Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. This event brought to you by the American Pool Players Association. I'm your host, Jason Bowman, and I'm joined by the striking Viking, Ava Mattia-Lawrence. Ava, all good things must come to an end, but before we end this year's World Pool Championship, we've got one more big tournament to go, the 9-Ball World Championship.
Well, this and the 8-Ball Championships are obviously our flagship events, and this should be as good as any event that we have seen all week. And it's kind of weird that it's almost over.
Yeah, it goes by so quickly. Time flies when you're having fun. So let's run through some of the ground rules of this year's 9-Ball World Championship. Of course, APA rules apply here. Both these teams, male and female players, with a maximum of 8 players allowed on the roster. You'll see up to 5 players in a match today compete in the match, depending on how far or deep into the match we go. Handicap limit of 23 for all 5 of those players combined. They may not exceed 23. Players are going to get 1 coaching timeout per game. This is 9-ball, so you're going to get a point per ball, 2 points for the 9-ball. And players race to their individual ball count. Team match points are awarded by the outcome of each match. And if that's confusing, we will walk you through it as we go. You can see the matchups here. In our first match, I believe we have a skill level 6 and a skill level 5, which means we're going to see a 46-38 race. And depending on the outcome of that score, that will determine how many team points are assigned to each team. These teams playing for a first place prize of $15,000. The runner-up's going to take home $7,000. And this afternoon we have from Hiram, Georgia, the team of 7 and a Timmaaay. And from Joilett, Illinois, the team of Burn It Down. So, Ava, here we go. We've got Mike Maher of the team Burn It Down. They are the team from Joilett. He is a skill level 5. He's going to need 38 points before his opponent, Stephanie Prewett, gets to 46 points. So it looks like Mike is ready with the break. And we're underway.
And a good one it is, too.
Absolutely.
3 balls on the break. And is he going to get a shot at the 2? He did. Just enough. All he has to do, a nice smooth stroke here. He can draw it back, or he can just force it into the cushion. Either come straight back or force it into the cushion, not for the 3. He just wants to make sure he gets a bit of an angle so he can get straight down for the 5 ball. The 4 is gone already. What a layout. What a way to start out, huh?
Excellent start. Mike is the captain of the team Burn It Down. We actually have 2 team captains squaring off, so we're going head-to-head right away.
Oh, he drew it, but man, did he draw it all right. He get a little too far there. Faced with a crazy thin cut, or he could bank it. The good thing about banking it is going to bring an automatic position for him down for the 5. So he's got 4 points already, 1 point per ball. There's no easy defense here. He could cross bank it and try to get him speed-wise behind the 5 and 9. But that's about as difficult as the bank is, so. Oh, he went ahead and tried to cut it.
And now we'll get a chance to see Stephanie Prewett of the team 7 and a Timmaaay from Hiram, Georgia.
You got to love the
names. That's how they say Timmaaay.
Timmaaay.
3 A's in the Timmaaay.
All right,
Stephanie
nice
pockets
shot.
at 3 in the corner.
And again, Stephanie is a skill level 6, so she would be considered a higher skill level player, and you can only play 2 higher skill level players in 1 match. So you can't put up 3 6s, for instance.
Which is interesting, because looking over their roster, they have a 9. Timothy Heath is a skill level 9. Mike Janis, skill level 7.
And the problem with playing a skill level 9 is that it really kind of hampers you a little bit as far as what you can play.
You better have a 2 on there, which they do.
1.
They've got 3 2s on the roster. So
we'll see who comes up next. Oh, that's going to be a scratch. Ouch.
All right, so that 8 ball will be marked as a dead ball. Will not count as a point towards Stephanie Prewett's score of 46. Mike Maher back at the table, now shooting on the 9, which is worth 2 points, and he picks up those 2 points. He'll take that first rack, 6-3. Again, one dead ball there. Moving right along here, Ava. It's a quick rack.
That was a quick rack, and that's the one thing about 9-ball. It is quicker than 8-ball, that's for sure. And most players tend to play fairly offensively. You see a lot more defensive shots when you're watching the pros play, unless the table is really messed up. If you have like a cluster of balls that you can hide behind,
Right.
that helps out. But the kind of the fancier, more intricate safeties we don't see as much, especially because the table is a little bit smaller. So if you're playing on a 9-foot table, you can just leave them really long, and chances are they're going to have a hard time if it's a difficult angle or a long straight-in shot. But on a 7-foot table, you're going to see a lot more offensive bank shots and that type of thing, because it is easier to bank on a 7-foot table, definitely, than it is on a 9-foot table. And plus, you get a point for every ball. So sometimes you go ahead and make a couple, even though you're not going anywhere, just to make sure you get those points.
Sure. When I came down this morning, I thought, well, it's a little thinner in the hallways, but looking around here in Pool Dog Championship Arena, nice crowd that is assembled here to take in the final match of the APA World Championships, which started just over a week ago here in Las Vegas.
Well, with a total of probably, what would you guess, 15,000, 16,000 people between spouses, probably more than that.
Yeah, we had
spouses.
we had 14,000 participants. We estimate 18,000 to 20,000 total attendance with friends and spouses that come out and join the folks here. So big turnout here this week in Las Vegas. Been a great event. Excited to cap it off here with this 9-ball World Championship. Mike Maher again with the break.
Not as good of a turnout. Yeah. No, he did pocket a ball. No, he did not pocket a ball, but not only that, he got a little fortunate there, snookering Stephanie behind the 2. So she's going to be kicking this way. And this is a good thing to practice, is wherever you are on the table, to learn how to kick to hit a pocket. And just get used to that. And then you can adjust it and go a little bit longer. Or she's going down the other way to make sure she hits it. Not a bad move.
Each ball is worth 1 point. The 9-ball is worth 2 points.
Good shot. He can see the 1 ball, but I don't believe he can see enough of it to make it. So you just want to tap this with, I would hit it with a lot of right to kind of push the 1 ball over to the side. Oh, well, that'll work too. A little help from the 9. Left an open bank shot, or a great opportunity for a safety here for Stephanie.
We are simulcasting on both our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Somebody had asked a question about if we were on YouTube as well.
All right, gained her 1 point, but no shot here, and she is not going to be able to go rail first to make this 1 ball, so she's going to have to kick 1 or 2 cushions here, it looks like. You can come down a little bit long here and hit it firm. You always want to hit the cushion that is closest to the ball if you can last. That makes it a lot easier to judge it than to try to judge this distance to here.
If you're just joining us, you're picking up coverage of the APA 9-ball World Championship. We're seeing a timeout now by the team of 7 in a Timmaaay. Hiram, Georgia. I believe this is Timmaaay right here, providing the coaching.
And APA has provided these little minute glasses, not hourglasses, but
sand timers.
Let's call them that.
Kind of hourglasses, little mini hourglasses.
Yeah, little mini.
Tells them how much time they have for their timeouts. Try to keep things moving at a good pace here.
Oh, right in between the 2. If she hits that a little bit softer, it may have gone a little longer than that, or a little bit of spin, but instead it's ball in hand. For Mike, we'll see what Mike can pull off here from Burn It Down, Joilett, Illinois. You know, a lot of these team names have a reason behind them, too. I wonder what the whole burn it down is all about.
Let's hope it's
I
let's hope it's a figure of speech and not a life goal.
We saw Hugh in the Hustlers and Masters tournament and then found out there is no Hugh.
Yeah.
They had kind of a little bit of an inappropriate name planned, and they had to kind of switch it up.
Oh, is that the reason?
Yeah,
I didn't catch all that.
I didn't hear the full story, but it was something
behind
like
the
that,
story.
yeah.
Look at Ava going in depth with her reporting here. It's not just commentary with her. She's digging deep to get the answers for you people.
Oh, yeah. All right. Obviously, cue ball's going to go into the 3. You just play speed here so that you can get a shot at the 3. Be careful. How far is it going to go? I think he does have a shot in the corner pocket. Cue balls obviously go on the opposite direction from the 4, so he's going to have to try to get out in the middle of the table. You don't want to just roll this in because it's going to be hard to get from the 4 to the 5. But if you slam it and come across, oh, he came backwards. Had a little unwanted left there, I think. Well, this is just, you just got to make this. This is a tough enough of a shot. Just try to make it, and this ball could come into play. And he could get stuck behind the 9 or the 7. Oh, nice. Just kind of forced it all the way around.
Again, Mike Maher from Burn It Down. They are from Joilett, Illinois. Their opponents, 7 and a Timmaaay from Hiram, Georgia.
Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
Yep.
Yeah, you needed to dig that in a little bit with some right and come around 3 cushions.
So for the second consecutive rack, we will have at least 1 dead ball. No point awarded there for Mike Maher because of the scratch.
Look out, not again. Seen quite a few scratches here right off the bat early. Stop just in time. See if she can force this. Well, it's a nice shot.
Stephanie pockets that 9 in the corner, picks up 2 more points. Closes the gap on Mike. She now has 8 points to his 10. Of course, he only needs 38 to her 46. So Mike's still with the lead as we move into the 3rd rack of the 9 ball. Want to make sure we thank our sponsors, pooldog.com. We got some special offers for our viewers and our members throughout the World Championships. If you go over to their website, you can check those out. Of course, Pool Dog Championship Arena, where all of our final matches take place at the World Championships. Great setup this year. Exciting opportunity for the members that make it this far to get to play in this arena. Pretty cool experience for them.
And both of these players seem to be handling the pressure well. I mean, it depends on, you know, it's kind of like when I play golf and playing quite a few celebrity golf tournaments, if nobody is around, my game's not that good. But when the crowd is big, I hit it dead straight down the middle, just being a ham. I think everybody's different.
Player.
So, well, I've had to be because of what I do. But I mean, everybody reacts differently. That's why I always say when we have local championships at home, if you have a 5 can play like a 4 or a 6 anytime. A 6 can play like a 7 or a 5 anytime. And a lot of that has to do with how you handle the pressure. And we have seen that over this week. Some people have really stepped up, and some people you can see they're just not playing their game. There may be a number, but the numbers don't mean anything unless you pocket the balls. I've seen plenty of 7 9s miss, easy runouts.
Right.
And I have seen some threes making 4, 5, 6 balls in a row. The tangent line meets it just perfectly. They play at decent speed, and all of a sudden they're making points and kicking the nine's butt. So
Yep.
I always say that if you play a 3 and you're a 9, you better play like a 9 or you're going down.
So this will be the first time Stephanie Prewett has the break.
And 8 ball.
Not quite.
3 ball. No.
Another dry break.
Luckily for her, not much of a shot here. He's got an opportunity if he wants to go offensively to make this bank shot and at the same time play a billiard on the 3 ball right there. He also has a couple of blockers here. He can play a safety. And again, kind of depends on if you're an offensive player, defensive player. If you feel it, then just get down and go for it.
I want to make sure we thank the folks here at the Westgate Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, which have been hosting the World Championships. They've done a great job accommodating our members and our staff over the past week and a half here. All right, a combination shot, 1-2 into the 8 for Stephanie Prewett. Again, Stephanie, a member of 7 in Timmaaay, Hiram, Georgia.
A good chance here for Mike. He's got 1 ball there, 2 ball is hanging, the 3 ball is hanging. That should be an automatic, and the 4-2, there should be an automatic 4 points. 4 to the 5 is going to be the only challenge, I would think, here. Just making this 1 ball, keep the cue ball on the table. Oh, no, he missed it. But he left a shot for Stephanie, just barely. She can just hit enough of that 1 ball to make it.
These are the final 2 teams. We had 492 teams competing in this year's 9-ball championship. We are, of course, down to the final 2. I came down this morning, and all the rest of the tournament rooms are shut down. The lights are on. The tables and lights are being pulled out.
Little by little.
Yep.
We'd still have Mini Manias going today, though, don't we?
No Mini Mania. Everything's. This is it. This is it. This is it. Which is kind of cool for these teams that get to play in this final. I mean, this is literally the last pool table open and the last match to be played. Appreciate all those folks that are commenting about how much they appreciate the live stream coverage. Of course, this is the 6th championship that we've been bringing you folks.
You know, the last 6 years, I mean, first of all, hats off to you guys, to the whole team that is behind all this, to put this together. I'm always pleasantly surprised when I get here and see what you guys have managed to pull together and improve it every year. But it really lends another level of class, excitement, value since we started the streams.
Look at that cue ball just hanging there. Just hanging. That's some great camera work, Steve. Do want to acknowledge our production team, Steve Alejandro, Kara Nord, Becky Rosner, Kevin Hinkebine, and Greg Fletcher. It takes quite a few people to pull off the streaming production. Going to see a timeout here for Stephanie. Again, this is Timothy Heath.
She has a couple of options here. I would not go offensive here, considering where the 5 ball is, but she can just thin this 4, go up table. She can hit the 4 ball up table, just kind of separate the balls. And if you can get them behind there, oh, she did. I don't think she meant to make that. I'm pretty sure she was just trying to get it up on the other side and bank it, the 4 ball up in this area. Instead, now she's forced to kick. It was nice to get that 1 point, but that could very easily cost her 5 if she doesn't make contact with this 5 and get away with something. 2-rail kick. Oh,
Got
my
it.
goodness.
Look at
Holy
that.
smokes. Nice kick.
Whoo!
See, what do I know? Yeah,
Oh, my.
She hit that. Well, clearly, she hit that beautifully.
Gets the crowd going a little bit. Had been kind of quiet up until that point, so.
Nice thin hit there. And a shot at the 7. She deserved that after the last 2 shots.
Stephanie now on the 9 ball. Chance for 2 more big points here.
This is kind of a tricky shot for anyone, the fact that you don't see the pocket. It's kind of a backwards cut, and when you're aiming it, so you really have to look at it, aim while you're still standing up, and then just sink down into the shot. Don't question yourself, just fire at it.
Unable to pocket the 9, so a chance for 2 points now for Mike Maher of the team Burn It Down out of Joilett. Picks up those 2 points. Stephanie has pulled ahead here, 16-12, but of course we did talk about the fact that Mike needs 8 points fewer, so we'll say he holds a slight lead. Stephanie getting some words of encouragement from her teammate, Timothy Heath. So it's my understanding with this particular team, 7 and a Timmaaay, is that Timmy or Timothy is always real antsy during pool league, and so he's like always off somewhere else.
Okay, that's
and so when they need him to play, they're like, Timmy! So there you go. There's a story on that one.
Well, look at you doing research.
That's right. Should mention, too, now is the perfect time to join APA. If you're not already a member, you go to poolplayers.com/join. You can do that today. Become an official member today. Got fall session just around the corner. Get you in touch with your APA league operator, get you on a team, or you can form a team if you'd like. Fall session, a great time to get involved. Chance to join us out here next year. Referee looking over the rack.
How about we take an opportunity to appreciate all the referees here?
Love the refs. You know, I ran into one yesterday, and I was thanking him, and I said, I know it's kind of a thankless job. He said, actually, a lot of people have been really polite to him and thanking him for being a referee, so that's good to hear. His fellow members acknowledging what a difficult job that must be. Gets the 2 ball there on the break.
And a shot at the 1. The 1 goes in between the 5 and the 4. And the cue ball, if he makes this 1, the cue ball should nicely come across for the 3. The key here is making the 1 ball. You don't have to worry much about position on the 3 if you can pull it off. Even if it goes into the 6 ball, he's going to have a shot at the 3.
Just a little public service announcement for our viewers. We do consider this to be a positive viewing environment, so those that want to be overly negative, we suggest you keep that to yourselves or we will remove you.
Just be nice. You know, if you don't want to be nice, if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. They must not have watched that movie when they were kids, I guess. Watch Winnie the Pooh or who was that? No, that wasn't Winnie the Pooh. That was Bambi or something.
He lost me there.
Yeah. Well, see, you didn't see it either. You were just raised right.
This is Burn It Down. This is the team from Illinois at the table. Mike Maher, the team captain.
There you go. He
Pockets
goes into
the
the
1.
6, and there's the shot that he needed on the 3 ball. Now, the correct shot here is to stun this. Shoot the 3 ball in the corner, stun the cue ball with some center. Well, let's see. and then it's going to bring it down to the bottom cushion and into the side cushion. Oh, you decided to play defense. He didn't like that.
Team of Burn It Down is from Joilett, Illinois. Their opponents from Hiram, Georgia. Captained by Stephanie Prewett, who you see at the table. Grabbing the bridge.
Nice soft, so she can leave a defensive shot. Good. When the cue ball and the object ball, when it's that close to the cushion, you can really plan your shot. Go over to the other side, look at it. Do you want to hit it on the left or favor the right, or more of a solid hit? And you should be able to practice that a little bit and really be able to pull off safeties like she just did, just by playing it. You know, but you have to go over to the other side where he's standing now so you can actually see it. If I had ball in hand and I was shooting it from here, where do I want to hit? And then you go back to the cue ball, and then you get better sense to where to hit the ball.
This is the first of potentially 5 matches we could see in the 9-ball World Championship finale.
Well, that looked like a good shot, but it was not. That's going to be a dead ball and ball in hand instead for Stephanie. He did hit the 8-ball first. All right, came up a little bit short. But the way she sliced in the 6-ball in the last rack, I have a feeling she's going to make this. And the good part is the cue ball's going back and forth. She will definitely get a shot at the 6 if she cuts this in. Oh, she didn't like it. Oh, ouch.
Attempted to play safety. I don't think it worked out the way she had anticipated.
Yeah, that's difficult. That's a difficult safety, to find the speed for the 5-ball to travel that far and have the correct speed to get it behind the 7-9. If she would have hit the 7, that would have been the safety. But and again, here's that stun shot. You guys should practice this. Just hit this with center, and the tangent line will take it right between the 7, and there you go. Not too much,
Watch
not
out.
too much. No, he drew it. But if you just stun it just right in the center of the cue ball, not too low, and the tangent line would have brought it beautifully between those 2 balls and back out for the 6. Yuck, a little straighter than she wanted. I always suggest for people to go over and really look at what the angle is that you want. It's so easy to stand in one place and then you go, I want to be there, and then you get there and you go, oh no, straight in, and you realize you could have been even up to a foot on either side and you would have been fine. But she's not making this look too difficult right now.
Two more points for Stephanie. She has now started to pull ahead. She's basically evened out the skill level differential here, now leading by 8 points, which is the difference in the points needed. So we basically have an even matchup right now. Been an exciting week here, Ava. So many matches. Folks, if you want to go back and watch any of those matches, you can do that on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/APA Leagues. I'd highly recommend checking out the 8-ball World Championship. That was a good one.
That was great.
The Jack and Jill, of course, with Kimberly Horowitz, which was with a broken leg.
Unbelievable.
Just so many great memories from this year's World Championship. You can relive them all. If you just can't get enough, if 10 days out here wasn't enough for you, go back and watch it again. visualize what it might be like to make it out here competing in Pool Dog Championship Arena. And then make sure you hop on a team for the fall session, because you can't make it out here unless you're playing in the league and a member of a team, right?
Exactly. And I have a feeling that you guys are just going to pack up now, go home, get 10 minutes of rest, and start getting ready. There's regionals going to be going on in the singles if you want to qualify to come out here.
Always something.
April, May, and that's the easiest way. You want to go to Vegas, play singles. Play
Right.
singles. I tell everybody that. I mean, you're in control of your own destiny. There's less matches to win. And it's some serious prize money when you get out here. It's $15,000 for first, regardless of if you are a skill level 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 7 or 9.
Right. Yeah, especially for the lower skilled players, because we see lower participation from the lower skilled players. I don't know if they realize that once they get out here, they're in a tiered situation where they're not playing the higher skilled level players. But great opportunity there for you guys to play on those singles boards and try to get out here. Another opportunity, if you will, to qualify for Vegas. Of course, that event held in the spring. We've got our U.S. Amateur Championship preliminary rounds coming up in September.
Oh, that's right.
There's always something. I know there's a number of regional events now around the country that are being held. The Mid-Atlantic Challenge, I believe, is in November.
Southeast Challenge, Carolina
Challenge.
Classic.
Yeah, lots and lots.
Lots of them. That's just on the East Coast.
So
They're
many
all over the
opportunities,
place.
yeah. I think the Southwest Challenge has a fall event here at the Westgate. So,
all right, Stephanie kind of let go of the cue ball a little bit there. Didn't quite punch the 2 ball out to get enough to get a shot. So we'll see what she's going to do here. Again, just kind of grazing this 2 ball and sending the cue ball off the 8 up table would be one option.
some folks asking, we did have a team disqualified following the semifinal round, which is something we never want to do. I know the folks that are involved in having to do that, it's a very difficult emotionally for them to have to send a team out of here, but very important for the integrity of the event.
Of course.
Again, we mentioned there were 492 teams. Would not be fair to those other 490 teams if we allowed a team that had excessive skill level movement to continue on in the tournament. So again, not a part of the things that we really enjoy doing, but again, sometimes they're necessary, and hopefully those other 490 teams can support that decision.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody has a chance to certify themselves when you get out
Yes,
here.
they do.
And if you know that you were a 5, but the majority of your matches, you may be drinking a little bit more when you're playing. So, and then all of a sudden you come here and you know you kind of can play like a 5, but you certify as a 4. You're taking you're not risking just you, but also the entire team being DQ'd. And it's like you said, I think the whole tournament we've only had 3 teams in all the different formats.
1 in 8 ball, 2 in 9 ball.
And it's going to happen. You know, we have the world's largest golf tournament in Myrtle Beach every year. Thousands of players come and play. And one year there was a girl who was I think she was 12 or 14 playing. And it was after the first 2 days, she was in the lead in her tier. And she was, the big headline, newspaper, huge picture, big deal. They interviewed her like crazy. The next day, she was DQ'd. She hadn't put in scores. In golf, you put them in when you want to. She hadn't put in scores for about 6 months and really improved, especially at that age. But you got to stay fair.
Yep.
And everybody out here knows the rules. Everybody knows what the deal is.
And that prize money that is forfeited is actually paid out to the teams that it's distributed to the teams that were knocked out. It's not like that money is kept by APA. So I think there's sometimes some misconceptions there about, what happens with that prize money. So.
And as we're watching, Stephanie was doing some pretty work here. And she really is.
She's really opened up a lead now.
Yeah. As
and
we
as we say that, we jinx her
commentators
and-
curse.
Yeah.
We're sorry, Stephanie.
Bring Mike back to the table here. If you're just joining us, you are seeing coverage of the APA World 9-Ball Championship here at Pool Dog Championship Arena. Nice online audience tuning in today. Appreciate you joining us, spending part of your Saturday with us. It wouldn't be the same for Ava and I without all of you.
We'd
We'd just be talking to ourselves.
Yeah. There's another break for Stephanie there. And Mike's going to have to make something happen here pretty soon. Stephanie is really
hitting her stride.
Hitting her stride. A couple of things have gone her way. She's made a couple of really, really good shots that has paid off.
Now leading 32-14. Needs just 14 more points to close out this match.
Crystal asked if more than one player goes up on the same team. Not necessarily. A lot of it goes in, just for you at home, to determining if a team is going to be disqualified or not.
Oh, absolutely.
2 players going up usually is not going to create a problem. If it's 3 players or 1 player going up 2 skill levels, you probably have an issue. But the team here, we as league operators, I run a league in South Carolina, North Carolina, and we send every single score sheet, theirs and the opponents. We send in a defensive report. We check everything. APA has all that at their disposal. They will go through it. This is not a decision to make lightly. And that will all go into disqualifying. Like you said, it is not an easy decision for these guys out here.
It's very difficult for the obviously for the players that are disqualified and for our staff that have to do it. It is certainly not an enjoyable experience. You know, it's gut-wrenching. But at the end of the day, if it has to be done, it has to be done, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And we will do what we have to protect the integrity of the event. I can tell you, they go to great lengths to make sure, as much as they can, to make sure teams are accurately handicapped before they ever get here. Our handicap review committee reviews scores from every team that's qualified to come out here before they ever get here. That same committee sits in and basically is sequestered in a room throughout the 10 days. They review score sheets after every single round.
And that's after we have done the same thing on a local level.
Absolutely.
Because the last thing I want to do is send out a team that will get disqualified. So.
And we do hold the league operators from those areas accountable, and you know, when those issues arise, and you know, but it does happen occasionally. That's unfortunate, but sometimes it happens. So, but we are going to focus on what's happening here, and that is Stephanie Prewett of the team 7 and a Timmaaay, Hiram, Georgia, who I believe was the team that advanced because of the disqualification, now leading here in this match. Needs just 12 more points.
Thin hit here on the 1. You want to be careful you don't hit it too firm. That could end up with a billiard or a combo on the 9. Well, that was a good shot, but is it going to stop on the 8? Yep. That'll work.
Somebody mentioned the importance of marking defensive shots. That's exactly right. It is very important. Proper scorekeeping, whether it's marking innings, appropriate table size, defensive shots. You know, I think sometimes there's some misconceptions about what is a defensive shot, and just remember it like this: if it's not offense, it's defense, right?
Yeah,
you're not trying to pocket a ball.
Terry Bell has a
defense.
really good video on that too, on scorekeeping and what is a defensive shot.
You can find that on our YouTube channel.
Check that out. And the cue ball just hung up. Did he need that? Kind of slow the bleeding down a little bit, and the punishment that Stephanie has put on him here.
Yeah,
34-14.
He kind of had control early on, but she's really battled back, and got her work cut out for her here. Timeout here being taken by 7 and a Timmaaay. This is Timothy Heath. Trying to show Stephanie a path to making contact with that one ball and making sure a ball gets to a rail after contact. I don't think we've seen a timeout yet for Mike when the team burn it down.
He hasn't had too many opportunities here either, because Stephanie has played a really solid match. And it looks like the only chance she can hit this is to go 2 cushions. So into each side cushion and try to hit it that way because of where the 4 and 8 are. You hit this firm. Oh, just a hair too far. That high spin on the cue ball kind of brought it a little farther.
So Mike will have ball in hand.
And normally you would be like chomping at the bit here at the 1-9 combo, but with the point system, you're much better off here shooting the 1, 2, the 4 is there.
Pick up a few points.
Even if you don't get to the 5, that's 3 points instead of the 2.
Right. Trying to cut into Stephanie's lead here. Did not have a chance before the match to find out where these teams play out of in terms of their bar or pool room. Maybe some of our viewers who are familiar with these teams would know where Burn It Down plays in Joilett, where 7 and Timmaaay play in Hiram.
Oh, that was a kind of an unforced error. He was just more concerned, I think, about, once he had figured out, I'm going to break them up, cue ball's going here and everything else, did all the computing and then just forgot to really bear down to make the ball.
Hiram Station is where Stephanie and her teammates play out of. Long shots is what they're telling me. The team from Joilett. Watch out. Boy, we've seen a handful of scratches today thus far.
Well, one thing happens in 9-ball much more than in 8-ball is you're moving the cue ball around so much because you got to get from one ball to the other. So you're going to cover more space on the table and go into the rails more. You can't, not that often you just tap balls in the way you can get away with an 8-ball when you have more choice than just one. So the cue ball, you got to really pay attention that you find the path where you want to go and not just where it's going to hit the rail, but if you hit it firm, where's it going to go after that? And as an amateur player, that's one thing you can really work on is the tangent line. Look at some videos online, read some books, and understand where the cue ball naturally will go.
5-6 combination.
Is it going to stop? It stopped. There's a big rack for Mike right here. Catch up quite a bit.
Pockets that 5. Follows it up by pocketing the 8 in the opposite corner. Now just the 9 remains for 2 more points. And those 2 points will go to Mike Maher, who now needs 17 points to win this match to Stephanie's 12.
Amazing in this game with the points how quickly the tide can turn, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I do love that every ball matters.
That is the great thing about APA 9 ball.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, I was asked to do an event that might be coming up, a televised event with just pure amateurs, that not with APA. It was actually something again with golfers, and I said the absolute best way to do it is to play the APA handicap where every ball counts, because it makes every shot interesting, as opposed to, back and forth, make a ball, play safe, whatever it is, and it's just a 9-ball. But here, you actually get awarded for every shot that you manage to pocket.
As a lower skilled player, I really love it because of the opportunity that it gives you, especially against that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if you got a big skill level differential.
Right.
You better be on your game if you're the higher skilled player.
You better play.
You know?
Just because you're a certain number doesn't mean that you
Absolutely.
deserve anything.
Absolutely.
You better play and show up.
9-ball is our fastest growing format. Referee working on that rack a little bit, wants to make sure it's near perfect. I've had some folks expressing interest through the chat throughout the week on how you can become a APA league operator. Your first step is going to our website, poolplayers.com/league operator. We've got a lot of information there on being a league operator. You can actually fill out a form there if you're interested. Of course, I mentioned this several times, but if you're from an area that already has APA activity, obviously you would need to look at an area that doesn't yet, right? So, if you're willing to relocate or you're getting ready to move to a different part of the country and that's something that interests you, definitely check that out. Still having a little trouble with that rack.
Main thing a referee looks for, or the racker, is that the top 3 balls are frozen. There could be, it's very difficult to just get all of the balls frozen, and there are certain template racks that you can use for that. The only thing unfortunate about that is that the way that 9-ball was designed is to be manually racked, because when it's not, if every ball is absolutely frozen, the corner ball is pretty much automatic to go if you put the 1 ball on the spot. So sometimes you see, like at the Mosconi Cup, you put the 9-ball on the spot instead. You move the rack up a little bit. But you just want to make sure that these 3 balls here are tight. Now, if you were the racker, you also want to keep an eye on these balls right here, because that is what could make the 9-ball fly.
Well, kudos to our referee here, because you want to talk about pressure.
Yeah.
You got several hundred people in here now, and 2 teams just waiting, and kudos to him. He wants to make sure that rack is done as well as possible.
And in a perfect world, we would have enough enough referees for every single table, but obviously that's almost impossible. We have over 300 tables here, so that's going to be a very difficult thing to do. But here for all the finals, we do, I don't want to say take advantage of our referee, but we take advantage of having a referee here that can make all the hit calls, that can rack the balls and everything else fairly for both sides.
Mike Maher with the break here.
Solid hit, but nothing's good's gonna come out of that. No open shot on the 1 ball for Stephanie, but I do believe she's got a shot at the combo. And if she just plans the path of the cue ball, she should be able to play kind of a 2-way shot, try for the combination, and play safety at the same time. No, I was wrong. She can't hit it. She's going to have to kick. Sure looked there that she could, but no. And Mike can continue his run a little bit here.
Pretty even match thus far, I would say.
It's been a good match.
Mentioned Mike kind of came out early, established a lead. Stephanie came back. Now an opportunity for Mike. Again, needs 17 points to Stephanie's 12. Both these teams looking to get off on the right foot here.
He's looking to draw the cue ball back to play the 2 in the far corner. Last time he drew, when he first started, he drew the cue ball. Yeah, that's what happens a lot. He drew the cue ball back a lot farther than he wanted. And it's very easy. You kind of get scared off of it after that, and you resulted in him coming up short a little bit.
Pockets the 2 in the corner. I think somebody asked about the cost of playing in league. That's going to vary depending on the league area that you're in.
Ouch. Oh, nice backup plan. Somebody asked here if you a question if you shoot a two-way shot, and I would take it that you mean a two-way shot as in offensive and defensive. No, that would not be marked as a defensive shot. In other words, if you're going offensive, you're going offensive. And if you have a backup plan like he sort of did there, then that's obviously okay.
If it's not offense, it's defense.
Right.
It's got to be one or the other.
Well, no, it doesn't. It can be both. Two-way
or it can be
shots.
both. Yeah.
But it's still offensive.
Right. Yeah.
All right, another chance for Mike to make some noise here. He's decided, you know what, I'm not going to draw it back anymore. So a nice play up to the side pocket. That was just cue ball placement and nice speed. He's left himself pretty much a stop shot here on the 4, I believe, and that should give him a good opportunity to make the 5, draw back for the 6. If he's got an angle, then he's better off floating it down and shooting the 5 ball in the side instead. Now he's on the incorrect side of the 5. That's the only thing you don't want to do. I mean, if you want to really get cute, you can play position around here and come around. Or he can try to just come across straight, avoiding the side pocket and coming up this way instead and just play speed. Again, all this planning, all this looking, but when it comes down to it, once you make up your mind, you got to focus on that 5 ball. So often that I see people come up with a perfect plan and then missing the object ball. Oh, he drew it straight back. Nice shot. Just a little low left here. Avoid the side pocket. Give him a nice angle to get down to the 8. Whole ball. All right, just in time. This is where you want to be, natural position. You can't mess this up unless you hit it way too thick. Just making this 7 ball, he's going to feed straight down for the 8.
Using an extender there. Saw him add that little piece of equipment to his cue. Give him a little more reach. Pockets the 7 in the corner.
Oh, he wants that to slow down. All right, that was just lack of speed control. He hit it a little bit thicker than he wanted, and that changed the angle. And I think one of the shots that a lot of our players have a problem with is when the ball is hanging in the pocket. That's something to really practice because it looks so easy. Obviously, you're going to make the ball, but when it's that close to the pocket is huge, no matter what table you play on. And you can cheat it whatever way you want to. And a lot of times you hit it too full, the cue ball will just die right there. So you need to hit it a little bit thinner if you want it off the rail.
Mike played a safety there.
And tough for us to see if that ball is frozen. If the 8 is frozen, then the cue ball or the 8 has to hit a different cushion. Or the cue ball can hit just that cushion. And it was all Stephanie, and now it's been all Mike here for a little while.
That it has. It's that 8 ball.
Oh, man.
Narrowly misses another scratch. We'll have a chance for 2 more points with this 9 ball, which I believe would put him at 7 points shy. Doesn't make the 9 ball. Stephanie will get a chance at it.
Somebody said that it's time for us to let juniors play in regular league. Well, we have to be honest. Pool tables can exist anywhere, and there are certain times. Whoa, how did she hit it?
Look at
And
that
she avoided
shot.
the scratch.
Woo!
She just fired it in.
The crowd goes crazy over that one.
Good shot
Stephanie
there.
Prewett picks up those 2 points. She will be at 36. She needs 10 more points. Maher needing 9. You were saying about juniors, I'm assuming you were about to say, I mean, it just kind of depends on an opportunity where to play, because you're talking about bars.
If you have like a
pool
family,
rooms.
like we have some juniors that we've said if they're around 16 years old, they can play in the regular league.
Right.
I get every single team captain to sign off of it that they're okay, and I get the location to sign off it. It's kind of a family room.
Right.
But you know, players kind of don't always watch their language maybe the way they should. They like to have a drink or two, and to have, you know, a 9-year-old running around,
Right.
and it's just not the atmosphere for the
Sure.
kids. And it's, you know, if you're an adult and you will have a nice night out.
Right.
So it's not like it's totally impossible for that to be okay. They cannot play in Las Vegas, and that's part of because this is Las Vegas, and
Yeah,
it's a
not
casino.
much here geared towards children,
Right.
obviously.
So a lot of people feel more comfortable just being able to not have to worry about saying the wrong thing or whatever around the kids. So if you don't have a junior league in your area, volunteer. Talk to your league operator and say, you know what, I have 2 superb, actually 3, Lonnie, Felicia, and Frank in our area. They are, shout out to them because they're there every week. They support the kids. They show them stuff when we can't be there, and when the kids are playing, they really stepped up to the plate and volunteered. So that's one way you can do it and help your league operator out there.
Now we do have a juniors championship that's held in St. Louis. It's a 9-ball event that's held in the summer. Great opportunity.
Oh,
Look
wow.
at that.
And a great event that you know, it's a great event that has grown and grown and grown.
500 kids there this year. Grow much bigger. We're going to have to find a new home. I was down there over the summer, and man, it's a packed house. Those kids have a good time too. Meeting all the other kids from around the country. A lot of kids even from Canada that come down. So.
Okay, didn't leave much.
Maher of the team Burn It Down there from Joliet, Illinois. Needs 9 more points to win this first match. First of potentially 5 that we'll see today during the 9-ball World Championship. Stephanie surveying the table here. Stephanie Prewett of 7 in a Timmaaay from Hiram, Georgia.
Can she get that cue ball over there? Good speed there.
Plays a safety there, leaving the cue ball partially hidden behind the 9.
If I were Jeff Sargent here, I would come out and at least discuss this. This is a huge kick That is their skill level 9 on this team.
Well, that's a name
Or
that's familiar.
is that the other way around? Wait a minute.
No, you got it. Jeff is a member of the team Burn It Down. A name we're familiar with. He's a former...
Nice kick. I guess he didn't need it. He knew exactly what he was doing.
I do wonder if we'll see Jeff and Timmy at some point, or Timothy. They're both skill level 9s for each roster. But Jeff's a familiar name because he's been a national singles champion before us before. He might have won that title more than once, actually. Or he's been in contention at least.
And some players literally just do not want a timeout. They say, you know what, let me ask for it. You can blow me off, but if you don't want to do it. But a lot of players just, even at some of our skill level 3s, they get very upset if they get a timeout called on them. So there are players that just don't want timeouts. And I guess you got to respect that. And obviously it's worked for Mike if that is the case with him.
Speaking of timeouts, Stephanie's going to take one here. Timothy Heath, who we've seen handle all of the timeouts for the team of 7 and a Timmaaay. He is the Timmaaay of his team. Now you see Jeff Sargent moving and talking to Mike a little bit. Or at least he's standing behind him. Now some conversation going on there. See them in the background. Timeout is over. Stephanie is ready to shoot. Gets a good hit on the 2 ball.
Nice, solid, firm hit. She had a chance to have something good happen, and as it turned out, it did.
Some folks indicating they really want to see the 9s go head-to-head. I'm not sure if we'll see that or not. Looking at the matches played, I'd say there's a pretty good opportunity.
It's like we said earlier when we first started the show, is if you play your 9s, you're really limiting the total overall skill levels.
Well, maybe we'll get lucky and we'll have 2 2s going at it for the 5th and final match like we had in 8 ball.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
If you didn't get a chance to see that the other day, that's in there.
Doesn't get much more exciting than that. We'll see if he's going to go ahead and, well, here you go.
Timeout.
Here's the timeout. If you bank this, you just got to make sure you really raise the back of your cue and come down on it. A cue ball can very easily get double hit by the tip of the cue, and that will be a ball in hand foul for Stephanie. So
this is Jeff Sargent with the Burn It Down team, providing the instruction to Mike.
Looking we're at the options here. Do we try to do the bank, or do we just tap this 2 into the rail behind the 4 and just drift the cue ball up to the other side of the table? And this is one of those where it's kind of 50-50. Normally when I see 50-50, I go for the shot if the degree of difficulty is about the same. Or it's up to you how you're feeling. If you don't feel the bank, by all means play the defensive shot. Big part of pool is playing the percentages. Add a little feel into that, what you feel comfortable with. And
Watch
that
out.
was not according to plan at all.
Scratch there by Mike. Stephanie will have ball in hand. Needing 8 points.
She's got 2.
7 available on the table.
Yeah, she's got 2 pretty much automatic there with the 2 and the 4. And all she has to do is get past the line for the 7, and she'll have a shot at the 5. The 6 is hanging. So, I mean, it's a doable table here. She is a skill level 6. So a run out here with ball in hand to start is absolutely not out of the question.
The final score here will determine the point split for the team points. Some folks had asked about that. just joining us, you're seeing coverage of the APA 9-Ball World Championship here at Pool Dog Championship Arena in Las Vegas. Team of Burn It Down from Joilett, Illinois, and the team of 7 and a Timmaaay from Hiram, Georgia.
You just love saying that.
Well,
don't
the commenters, they want me to say it like South Park. Timmaaay. Timmaaay. There you go. And don't get me started on the pork chop sandwiches. That one's for you, Steve.
Yeah, I don't think any of us want to know the
Inside
details.
joke
Yeah,
there.
good. There's a good
Safety.
speed shot again. It's one thing for those of you watching, you know, Terry and I talked a lot of, Terry Bella and I was talking a lot about it during the Masters telecast, and speed control, work on speed control. Then you can move into, you know, even if you're a beginner, try to really work on the speed. And I don't care what your level is, and learn the speed quickly, because when you're playing in different locations during league night, when you get to here to Vegas, it's very important that the one that adjusts to the new speed of the table first is probably going to do better than your opponent, because every table's got their own kind of personality. So, but one thing that Stephanie is doing is her speed control is really good. She has a good sense of, and that is the tiny little difference between your 6 and your 5. You know, 9-ball, the fact that there's 9 numbers, a lot of times there's not a lot of, well, that'll work, a lot of difference between the two.
So
But
it looked to be a 5-8 combo. That 5 kind of, or 5-6 kind of drove that 6 ball right out of the pocket. Now she'll shoot it back in the same pocket. Leaves herself nicely on the 7.
and
She's going to be real close here at the end of this rack.
this is just a
4
make
points
this
away.
7 natural position for the 9.
Pockets the 7, leaves herself good position on that 9 ball. She makes this, she's going to need just, I believe, 1 more point. And she's got it. Now at 45. You might see it right here on the break, Ava. Good
Well,
break and this match will be over.
Yeah.
The good news is for Mike and the Burn It Down, if things don't go well in this first match, he has performed pretty well, which means
Yes.
the point split will be a little more even, less lopsided than it might have been with a one-way score. So, and we'll take a look at that after this first match.
This is where you want to be, though, needing 1 and having the break.
Yeah, good position to be in. Want to make sure we thank our sponsors. I know we've mentioned our friends at PoolDog.com several times, but the folks at Action Cues, the official pool cue of the APA. Got Aramith billiard balls, the official cue ball, or the official balls, really the premier billiard balls in the pool industry. Valley Dynamo, official table of the APA, providing all 300 tables that we're using out here this week. And of course the folks over at Pool Dog, if you need to pick up a new cue or some new accessories, you can go to their website.
Well, one thing for Mike, if she fails to make a ball on the break here, the 8 points are on the table. There's always 10 points
Absolutely.
on the table, and all he needs is 8. So
He's got to be
it's not
hoping
over
for
yet.
a dry break here. Our referee trying to make sure that rack is nice and tight. Somebody had asked about jump cues, not allowed in standard APA league play. The reason being, we believe that favors the higher skilled players. In addition to the fact there are a number of APA venues or host locations that don't necessarily want players jumping on their tables.
Right.
If you do want a format where you can use the jump cue, would encourage you to check out the APA Masters format, where jump cues are allowed, no handicaps utilized there.
And as long as, I mean, if you're good enough to jump with your own cue, your playing cue that you actually play with, a full-length cue, then by all means, as long as it's not disallowed in the location.
All
But
right, here we go. Stephanie Prewett needs 1 point here on the break, and she's got
there
it.
it is. Cue ball stays on the table.
Stephanie Prewett is your winner. Takes that first match 46-30. We'll get a update on the point split there as the players prepare to put up their next participants. We're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. Here's a word from our friends at pooldog.com.
Tired of the same old when you're buying billiard supplies? Come shop with the big dogs at pooldog.com. You want pool cues? We've got over 700. Balls, cases,
5, right?
accessories, no problem. Want help with your game? How does hundreds of free training articles sound? Want to shop offline? We'll mail you a free catalog. Hit us up online, pooldog.com, or call 866-843-3294.